Hello, my name is Kinloch and I really like musical theatre, and so I often go to see shows, and then afterwards I have all these thoughts in my head and I think I need to talk about this. And what I find is if I just blurt all of these ideas down this camera, then I can share all of my thoughts with everyone at once. It's very efficient, it's very economic, and I like that. So, welcome. That's what you're in for. What have I seen recently? Last night, I went to see something by Impromptunes. Not the first thing I've seen by Impromptunes, but I want to introduce it with a little bit of a story, a bit of a backstory, if you will, to give me depth and layers. So, let's go back in time to 2010 or thereabouts. I was living in London and I was working as a waiter, and often as a waiter you end up having to tell people the same sorts of things about the food, and you're often like describing the food to people. I decided at some point that it would be more interesting if I sang descriptions of food at people. So I used to do that, and I hope they liked it. Anyway, kept me entertained. Around this time in London, I think it was 2010, I noticed that there was this show being advertised. I think it was in a West End theatre. It was a big theatre. That they were going to do an improvised musical. An improvised musical. Have you heard of such a thing? It's a beautiful concept. I was like, what? How? Musicals are famously collaborative. There's a lot of different parts that have to come together and complement each other. There's music, there's lyrics, there's dancing. Often there will be costume and lighting and all of the production values as well. How do you just make that all up on the spot? So I went to see this improvised musical and I loved it. It was so good. It was big and spectacular and interesting and funny. And there were cool lyrics and cool songs and some dancing, and it was generally just a good time because the audience as well, is just so into it. There's something about when you know things are being made up on the spot, you just have a different mindset as an audience member. And you're just more willing to go along with whatever stupid thing happens next. And I mean, isn't that the attitude we need to get through life in general? Just be willing to go along with every stupid little thing. It helps. So I went to see this improvised show, improvised musical in London, and I loved it. And afterwards I was like, my life will never be the same. Now that I know that this art form exists, I need more of it in my life. Zoom forward, a few years later, I'm living in Melbourne, and I see advertised that, gosh, you'd think that all I ever do with my life is read ads. I don't. But I saw advertised that this company, this theatre troupe, if you will, called Impromptunes, were running some courses to learn how to improvise music, to improvise a musical. And so over the period of a few years, I did some of their courses to learn how to improvise musical things. And wow, it remained to be just one of the most enjoyable things you can do. And it's an art form that I appreciate so deeply. And I don't get why there isn't more of it in the world, because it just brings so much joy. It makes people laugh. It makes me laugh. And what is laughter? Laughter is healing. Laughter is the best medicine in the world. So what does that make improvised musicals? Healing. The solution to all the world's problems. If more people were out there making improvised musicals, watching improvised musicals, enjoying improvised musicals, the world would just be a better place. That's not even up for debate. It's just a fact. So this is the context in which I found myself last night going to see another Impromptunes show, but not just any Impromptunes show. It was their 400th live improvised musical. 400. A very significant number because it is more than 399. It's less than 401. It's got some zeros in it. Yeah, so, I mean, 400, it's a good number. Why not? I'm not anti-400. Don't think that about me. But I did also question, what is the significance of 400? And why does it have to be significant? Huh? Why can't it just be like, this is something we want to celebrate? I mean, I'm somebody who had a party when I turned 33 and a third. So I'm all about just celebrating whatever number you want to celebrate. And I think that also kind of speaks to the attitude that you should bring with you when you go see an improvised musical. All of this brings us to last night. We're in this theatre, we're celebrating what's about to be the 400th improvised live musical by Impromptunes. And because they did want to make it a bit more of an interesting event, they had some other preludes to this. They had some games. There's a bit of an audience interaction. They had other little shorter musical things that they presented to us. Improvised, of course. And then it's time for the 400th improvised musical live on stage by Impromptunes. We get a surprise title from a lucky audience member. And that title is 400 Hot Tamales. We took a moment to figure out if we all knew what a tamale was. Still not 100% sure I do, but I mean, I think I've had them before in my life. It's like a little Mexican treat. There's corn, there's other flavors. Look it up. And then the lights go out. Music starts. There's an overture. And then the performers just start singing. They start dancing. They start introducing these characters to us. They just bring so much life into this really ridiculous, charming story about a food truck, which is great because you can eat standing up. And in this food truck, there's these lifelong friends who have known each other for a long time. And one of them has a food truck and the other is just starting on her journey of food truckism and really thinks that one day this could be her future. In fact, one day she might even open her own restaurant. And what's going to happen? Oh, questions, intrigue. Will these lifelong friends cross that invisible threshold and become lovers? Will Alyssa open a restaurant? Who knows? It's a great sort of setup. It's a great introduction to this world where all things are possible. Like, you might get run over but on your little face. And that little face might end up all over the place, including the left cheek being in someone's wallet that they carry around. They're like, oh yeah, I keep this with me at all times. Including someone's life being saved after a big gas explosion by, well, their heart fell out during this gas explosion, but it got reattached. It just got reattached in the wrong place and being put on their hips, and now they wear their heart on their hip, not their sleeve. No, it's more like a hip flask. A heart flask? It's not a flask. It's just a heart. I digress. So, this is the crazy, zany world in which we find ourselves, and I think that that's worth highlighting because you've got to just lean into the ridiculous of it all. And there is ridiculousness. There is much ridiculousness to be had, and that is a huge part of the appeal for me. If you like ridiculous things, you will also love Impromptunes, improvised musicals. And yeah, the story just goes on, and then it ends. and we're all happy. And honestly, the vibe in the room last night, every single audience member was just like bopping around, having the time of their lives. That's what you want out of a theatrical experience. Maybe not Hamlet, but other theatrical experiences. So, all of this to say, I have enjoyed following Impromptunes throughout the year. I've particularly enjoyed just watching them get better and better. And one recent innovation that I think has really elevated stuff to the next level is that they now have a 3-piece band with whom they perform. They used to perform just with the keyboard, do-do-do-do-do. Now, in addition to the keyboard, there's an electric guitar, there's a drum kit, woo! And these things do not play themselves as musicians making the music happen on those instruments, just to be clear. But it really elevates things. I particularly enjoyed the little guitar solos that we heard in the overture and the entr'acte, because yes, this was a 2-act musical, people. If anything, I'd like more of that. Why not have a guitar-led song? Why not have a drum solo to dance to? There is still room to grow and progress and make this bigger and better, but as things are, it's already great. It's already healing the world one hot tamale at a time, and I encourage you all to go see an improvised musical at an improvised theatre near you.